I'm back. Episode 2. You never thought it would happen, but guess what? It did. Um, we have a. I have a fantastic show for you today. I am hoping that Anna is watching this. I have 0 viewers, so I went ahead and doubled my viewership. So because yesterday I was the one watching it, and today I'm watching it, and maybe Anna will go watch it because I'm basically forcing her to. But hey, that's what we're here for. So what I'm going to talk about today, first off, let me turn this off so that we don't have any issues. Okay, so my cat's here today. My cat provider, Darcy. If she makes an appearance, do not be surprised. If I yelp at any point, that means that she has bitten me because she did not agree with what I was speaking about. So I want to start out with a clip. Now, I'm going to have to see if I can get this right because I want to share my screen with you. And when I do, I'm going to play a video. All right, so hopefully you can see this. Now, I got to go over to that and take control of it. So, okay, so I want to play you a clip.
A bit about what stuttering taught me about running a business. First, a bit about me. My name is Lisa Perone, and I'm the co-founder and chief branding officer of Outspoken Media. We are an internet marketing company located here in Troy. I founded the company in 2009 with my partner, Rhea Drysdale, who's hiding over there. And if you remember anything about the state of the economy in 2009, you remember that it wasn't really the best time to start a sandwich, let alone business. But that's what happened. In 2009, I had just moved from LA to New York, and so I found myself in a really difficult position when 3 months into the job I had just moved here to take. I felt like things weren't working out, so I had a choice. I could stay at the job and keep my paycheck, but risk my integrity, or I could.
So she could stay at the job or she could risk her integrity. Guess what she did?
And quit. So in the middle of a crap economy and with absolutely nothing to fall back on, I quit my job.
So crap economy, quit her job. Because the money or her integrity. There was a difference between the two for her. Hopefully this, I don't know what this is. I got something showing up on my screen and it's literally driving me crazy, but I'm going to fight through it. So let's get back to Lisa. Now this is Lisa Barone, and I ran into Lisa years ago. This video was posted on December 25th, 2011. I think I saw it pretty shortly thereafter. And it was something that really hit home with me because this was someone I had read stuff. I ran into her end of December, mid-December. Well, I didn't run into her. I was at Blue Glass Experience, which I mentioned in the first episode, and she was another attendee there. And I was way too shy to, go talk to her, and introduce myself, but super impressed. Like, she's super smart, super high integrity. Just, impressive. Like she's like 12 years old or whatever, which drives me, crazy. All these super smart kids, but that are super successful. But there was something behind it, which was she had that integrity, and she wasn't going to compromise on herself. She was going to be herself. So when I'm talking about tell your story, to tell your origin story to start with, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Don't make it up. It has to be genuine. You're probably thinking, oh, well, I'm not interesting. You're probably not. I mean, let's be honest, right? But I'm not interesting. I understand that. However, I still show up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday live for 30 minutes because, let me let Lisa explain. Present to everyone. Hopefully you can. Oh. Here we go.
Just how rare, just how all about starting a business and creating a brand. I knew because I stuttered. As you know by now, I stutter. What you may not know is just how rare that is. Just 1% of the adult population worldwide stutters. 80% of that number are men. That means standing up here, I am as close to as you'll ever see to a real life unicorn. For those who may not be aware, stuttering is thought to be a motor skill issue. Stutters display a higher activity in the area of the brain that controls speech movements, which makes it difficult for the brain to account for the necessary movements. The result is this: it's disfluent in speech. The fact that I stutter has impacted my life in a number of ways. I was not teased, I was not tormented, but I did grow up quieter than I should. When you have a speech issue, you're not as likely to ask questions. You're not as likely to challenge things, and it's a lot easier to allow someone to make assumptions for you than to speak up and to correct them. And that was my life for a long time, and it was my life until I found in social media. In 2006, I got both my voice and my groove back when I had a job as a technical writer for an SEO company in LA. Part of that job had me blogging every day. So every day I was now communicating with people in a way that I felt comfortable talking to them. I was educating them. I was sharing insight. I was making them laugh, and I was telling stories, and I was finally connecting with people again. And I also started to get a lot of praise for what I was doing. People saw that I had an ability to talk to small business owners in a way that they related to. I was able to talk to brands and businesses about the power of voice and why they should fight for it. And it became really clear to me why that was. Like a business, I was fearful of standing out or of attracting too much attention to myself. Oops, just kidding. I hid behind a mask because I was afraid of people to see me. I was limiting my own voice because I wasn't sure if I even deserve to have one. And I think that was a really powerful thing for me, because it allowed me to see my stuttering as something that worked for me instead of something that worked against me. You know, I understand the power of voice better than anyone because I've had to fight for mine. My struggles with voice allow me to better relate to others. I only have to meet someone once before they remember me, and that's huge. And it's especially huge in business when we're all
Okay, so I wanted to share that clip, and it went a little bit long, and I apologize that I actually took over the screen, completely spaced it, because unfortunately, I'm having technical difficulties. Thankfully, there are no visitors or viewers. There's literally zero, because the one that I was forcing to watch today, Anna, my customer, was unable to see it. So hopefully it's recording. It says the broadcast is going. I have presented my screen, although I did mess that up some. I'm not sure where I messed up technically so that it's not showing up on the website. So obviously that's something that, you know, we'll address in a future episode, because the idea is I want to make the mistakes and let you learn from them. And one of the biggest things I wanted to talk about today was intent. And I guess the biggest part of that is, if your intent is to be yourself, when you're writing for your business, meeting customers, greeting them, serving them on behalf of your business, prospecting customers, whatever. If your intent, let's do it this way. Let's say that you're in a court of law, you are on the stand, federal trial or whatever, but you're being sworn in under oath, and you have to define, where does your intent, your personal, as a human being, your essence, where does that, your intent for your actions, for your everything, every action, be it verbal or actual action or whatever, where does your intent originate? Well, it's probably going to be pretty deep in your gut, like at your core, at your essence. You want your intent. Hey, my intent was, I'm here to help you build your business, right? I want to share these other people who have taught me for free on their blog, on a TEDx talk, on YouTube, on Rainmaker.fm podcast network. I want to share them with you. It's not that I'm hurting them in fair use, or that I'm trying to, borrow or steal their integrity or their authority, or their audience, or any of the above. The idea is very simple, that I have learned so much from pretty much 50 of the Copy Blogger Media people. And then, you throw in Joanna Lord, which I linked to in the show notes on my jasonhobbsllc.com for this actual broadcast, which, as long as there's a video, as long as it's recording and all, it's going to be there. And it's going to be a video podcast. You'll get the full 30 minutes, Monday through Thursday. I do have to submit that, and I do have the audio podcast coming. However, it is, well, let's do it with Chris. Chris is my production guy. He puts the final polish on, and he has 3 of them, my first 3 inaugural episodes. And then we're going to get into the, from there, every Monday through Friday, 3 p.m., you're going to get a new 6-minute version. So I completely lost where my original point was, but I was talking about intent. I took you into a courtroom, and I wanted you to associate that, yes, if someone calls out my intent, that is deep. That is something that is at my core. It's not something that I'm just going to brush off. So the intent behind what I'm doing is, like, for instance, bringing Lisa. I'm not literally bringing Lisa, obviously. I'm using a a YouTube video, but I wanted to play that for you and let you see. Vibrant young lady, obviously she's weird. She said that. I love that. I think that, you know, own yourself. And that was the thing I tweeted as well. And you'll see it if you're watching the video. It's going to be at to the left of the video. But there's a little tweet box. Swappin, SWAPPIN stories, plural, STORIES. Make that your hashtag, and you can ask me questions on Twitter. So hopefully, you know, I'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Same thing Thursday, and then next Monday through Thursday, etc. So if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it as soon as I can. But I wanted to be clear about intent, because these are people, the people I'm going to bring in, if it's, you know, reading part of their blog post or summarizing their blog post. Like I've already linked to Mike King. He wrote about starting an agency. Fantastic blog post. He's weird. He's not weird in the same way that I'm weird. He's not weird in the same way that Lisa Barone is, but he is. And I think that that's what I got when I read his blog post, which I've done repeatedly and shared repeatedly, etc. Because I just thought that it was a fantastic, like he spilled blood on the page. That's how I look at it. Joanna Lord, when she wrote that Eminem thing in 2013, where she was basically taking 8 Mile and she was learning marketing from it, huge. She spilled blood all over the page. Anything that Lisa Barone writes, she does. Like, you know, I won't go into the West Wing thing, but there's a point where Rob Lowe's character leaves, and Toby, who is the communications director, is still, he still has to write the State of the Union, which is coming up, which is obviously a huge speech for a speechwriter for the president, right? So, you know, Rob Lowe is leaving to run contract negotiations or whatever, but he left. And so his character's leaving, and they're introducing a new character. And one of the things that happened was they said, hey, here is a, here's a shot. So they let the new guy, Will, they let him write, a piece. And he, gave it to Toby, and Toby looks at it and goes, basically you've got, blood flowing through it. There's blood in that, the words on the page, or that he typed or on the screen or whatever. That is the first thing that popped into my head. That exchange popped in my head the first time I ever read something by Lisa Barone. So part of what she does in this talk is she closes with a quote by Dolly Parton. And Dolly Parton said something that was super smart. She said, be yourself, and then, do that, be the core you, basically. And I'm summarizing here, or trying to poorly. But, be the core you, or define the core you, and then be that on purpose. So be yourself, and then once you are clear on who you are, be that on purpose. So own you, which is not easy. Like, I'm an introvert, the depression, ADHD, all that. But I mean, from beginning, I've never had a whole lot of self-esteem at all. So, that resonates. Like when people are talking about that resonates with me. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about was I wanted to try and give you a quick win. And the biggest thing that I can do right now, I think, is help you build an audience. And the best way you can do that is, number one, you have to come up with something that you care, that you're sensitive, put it that way. One of the things that Lisa Barone talks about in her talk is, what's your superpower? What's your weird superpower or whatever? And mine is, and she's trying to help you figure out what yours is. So she's like, okay, so when we're talking about it, what is the one thing that you don't like telling people, right? Or, the way I kind of took it was, what do you get sensitive about? I get sensitive about being sensitive. It's always mattered to me. If I care about the person that's speaking, then I take it very personally, whatever they say. It can be a tweet, it can be a Facebook, it doesn't matter. Because I am putting in context of, this is someone that's important to me. And I find that other humans that, engage me and care about me, they're the ones that I worry about, so they're the ones like, Anna and Drew and Joanna at Southland Church and etc. My customers, I want everything that they say to be a positive. So has it helped my business? Well, yeah, it's going to help it even more going forward because I understand now how to help you understand, hey, this is a good thing. Dude is super sensitive about his customers. So if I am able to be one of his customers, my business is, he's going to take care of it. He's going to take care of his slide, and what I'm helping them focus on is growing their community, growing their business. That's why I use Rainmaker platform, because I can't literally do everything. I'm not a host. I'm not a designer. I'm not a developer. Although I played one on TV once. It didn't go well. So I want to build my business and I want to help you build yours. But you got to have skin in the game, so to speak. One thing that kind of resonates with me that kind of helps understand the skin in the game theory is at breakfast. If you're eating bacon and eggs, who's more committed to the experience of your breakfast? The chicken or the pig? I always want to be the pig. Yeah, I'm probably going to get ripped for that. I'm sure somebody will use that one against me. But I do, because I want to, I like bacon. But the other part is, the pig in that scenario, obviously, I'm sure they didn't have choice or anything, but they are looking at it, or, they're fully committed to your breakfast experience, right? And I'm not trying to get slaughtered or anything, but the point, you get the point, And the other part that I really loved, and I'll put I think I did a screen capture of the slides, and I'll put them, in the show notes of the blog post, the post on jstomsllc.com for this live broadcast. And in those show notes, I'll put a couple of screen captures of basically slides that Lisa used in her talk, and really, really helpful, including one where she has the quote of from Dolly Parton. But you're going to be able to understand that by watching her, and you have to sit there and listen to her. And if you do, you're going to get the point that she's making. She's funny. B, she's obviously extremely smart, but even more so, she's vulnerable. Like, she puts herself out there, just like she kind of learned as a kid. She says she went through, quieter. She was still aware and so forth, but she didn't speak up for herself all that much. When you do speak up in those instances, you feel extremely vulnerable. If you speak up a lot, you don't feel vulnerable, every single time. If you only speak up once in a while, you're going to be pretty vulnerable when you put yourself out there. So she was kind of prepared for the internet from, childhood. I was the same way, because, everybody loved picking on me. Pretty much everybody. Sandalwood High School, Jacksonville, Florida. Trust me. They went to school with me. They're probably like, oh, yeah. Poor Jason. I always felt bad for that kid. They did. And they probably had a pretty good reason to. So, all right. So I have 6 minutes left, and I've discussed, we played some of the video. We talked a little bit about what I learned from Lisa. And I'm not sure that I was clear enough. Like, part of what she talks about is directly helpful for what I'm trying to help you do, which is tell your story. And I say, look, start with your origin story, okay? Warts and all. If you start there, people will relate to you. Not everyone will. You don't want everyone to relate to you. Well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be a bad thing necessarily, but you don't need everyone to relate to you. You need your customer to relate to you. And the way that works is they start out as an audience member. I became aware of Copyblogger Media. I became aware of Hotjar, which is the analytics that I use, Slack app. I use Rainmaker, etc. I became aware, so I became part of their audience first. And then later on, I became, an acquaintance, we'll say, because I was on their email list. These people are giving away free stuff. Might as well, right? I'm going to avail myself of this. And everything on the buffet, basically. So there, and I lost it. Oh, but I became an acquaintance. Whew, I found that one. Didn't take that long either. Sometimes it takes days. But I'm an acquaintance, then I became a customer, and then I became a repeat customer. But then I became an evangelist to a degree. Because if I know that this is a solution, why wouldn't I want to tell you? If this person can help you, then why am I not going to tell you? We talk about, in marketing, a lot of times we talk about what's the rationale behind people sharing on social media. Because with the click of a button, they can tell, thousands and thousands or millions in some instances of their friends or people that care, their audience, right? They can share it with them. And we talk about, the rationale behind why they would want to do that, which would be, self-interest, right? We're human. That's kind of in our DNA. Why do we celebrate those selfless acts? Because we know that inherently we are self-interested, right? So at the same time, you have to keep in mind that while we are all self-interested as humans, there's an intent. And if your intent is to help other people, then you're going to share the solution. One of the things that I run into a lot that I think is hilarious is the idea of competition. And, I've heard Brian Clark wax poetic about it a few times on different podcasts and all. And, he basically said, hey, the way that he did was he rationalized, that, well, if people are already there, then there's obviously demand and so forth, right? So I'm not going to really worry about having to go into that if I know, that I have a real need that I'm solving, etc., which makes sense. I mean, great copywriting is not going to save a bad product. It just doesn't work that way. So I lost it again, man. Thank goodness no one's watching. Except for you, which I'm very sorry. Okay, so where was I trying to go there? Ooh. Okay. Well, it's gone now. Intent. If you're looking to help people, your intent matters. And you're going to be more apt to share. Oh, competition. Whew, okay. So I don't worry about competition. I think it's a good thing. I mean, you've heard the story about Lizzie weighed in. I have 3 dogs. They like to bark, especially if anyone breathing walks by. You should not be breathing and walking at the same time in Lizzie's view, as you can tell. She's very high standards. But competition, you'll hear people on occasion throughout, oh, well, rising tide lifts all boats. But that is literally true. A rising tide lifts all boats. If, there's a billion different ways for people to get a website. There's a billion different ways, places they can host it. There's a billion different this. There's a billion different that. Maybe not billions, but millions and thousands and, so forth. There's so many different options. We all have too many options. So don't worry about the fact that there's a ton of options as competition. Worry about being yourself. That was the big thing that I took away from Lisa. That's the big thing I've taken away from most people. Erica Napolitano, we're going to get to her at some point. Girlfriend's awesome. I mean, amazing. Every time that she writes, it's her. It's her essence. She spills blood on the page, quite literally. So, are you serious? But the big thing that I learned from Lisa was be weird, be yourself. And that's what I'm trying to tell people start with your origin story, warts and all, because the people that are runs away, you're going to run away anyway. You don't want them there. You want the ones that are your actual customer. So that's 30 minutes. It was brutal. I'm apologizing already. But I will be back again tomorrow, and we're going to see if we can do it a little bit better. And Darcy says au revoir. She didn't really speak French, so she is a cat. And I'm the only one that can understand her. But that does not make me weird. It doesn't. You take that back. Actually, no, thank you. I am weird. Good. I'll see you tomorrow. If you have questions, Swappin Stories is the hashtag. No G, Swappin Stories. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. And I don't care what Brian Clark says about you. You kick ass.